Kiwiji. I'm back with another Artist Alley video for you. So convention season is coming up, and for a lot of people I know, this will be their very first convention ever. Now that's quite daunting. People have a lot of questions. People are they just really don't want to screw up, and that's fine because no one really wants to mess up at anything. So number one, I am going to try and condense everything that you need to know to prepare for your very first convention. And number two, I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible because it has occurred to me that a lot of my vlogs I'm just talking for a really long time, and I would like to try and stop that, and I'm already talking too much. So number one is getting a table. That's relatively easy. You go to the convention website and you sift through all their little links and then find where the Artist Alley section is, or for some other cons where the dealers tables are at. The difference between the Artist Alley and the dealers table is because the Artist Alley, typically it's a smaller area. Depending on the con that you go to, they tend to make the Artist Alley area smaller than the rest of the convention because they're condensing like 200 artists in a small area. The dealers tables are more expensive. You have a wider space, and they are on the main convention floor. That's up to you. You have to check which table you would rather go for. I say if this is your first convention, do an Artist Alley table because those are cheaper. So you go to the website and there's a form for you to fill out. You fill out your name, details, what you're selling, and then click send. For a lot of the bigger cons like MCM London, you have to be really fast because the tables sell out in like 8 minutes. So that can be quite scary. Just sit there at the time ready and just get your fingers ready and just get ready to type it all out really quickly and click send. So number two is planning your merchandise. You've got your table. Now you need to get ready, buckle down, sit down, work hard on making all the little things that you're gonna put all over your table. So I like to try and break it down. I don't know why I hold my fingers there. I didn't actually have a number, but I like to try and break it down to a few easy steps. So number one, prints. I've said this before in the earlier Artist Alley tip video, but prints are your main bulk of merchandise. They are, always will be. So you would want to get like maybe a maximum of 10 prints, 10 A3 or A4 or whatever size you want, 10 prints ready to sell. So 10 different designs maximum for your first convention, minimum around like 7 to 10 prints for your first convention. The reason of that is that when you set up your table and you only have say 5 prints, this may sound just a bit bad, but I think frankly it's the truth. If you have a table that's only got like 5 prints on it, people are gonna look at it and just take one quick look at it and then walk away. I think typically when you have say a good reasonable amount of merchandise on the table, people tend to stay longer and look through every single one. So then people have also asked me about smaller merchandise, buttons, bookmarks, stickers, all those things. I think that the thing that you should concentrate on the most is your prints, and when you're done with the 7 to 10 mark, you can create button stickers and all that other fancy things. It bottles down to what you want to get out of the convention. But for quite a lot of people, it would be nice and it feels really good that you accomplished something to come back with a bit of a hefty profit, which is why prints are the things that will help you get there. The things like buttons, stickers, charms, all those things, they look really cute and they're really fun to do, but they won't help you get there as much. And I think for your first convention, you might want to play it safe. So do the 7 to 10 prints first, and then when you're done managing all of that, then you can do the little things like buttons and stickers and all of that. Also, typically the buttons and, well, not stickers because you just get sticker paper and just print it out, but the things like buttons, charms, those take a lot more planning and effort to do. I mean, that's up to you what you want to do. Those are still really fun, but in the end, planning your merchandise, prints are the key, and buttons, stickers, charms, all of that, you could if you're too nervous about this as it is, about going to convention and not messing up, you could take it back a little bit and say, I'm going to do the buttons, stickers, charms next time when I've got more of a feel of it. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Number 3 is table display. So how does your table look when you put all your stuff on it? That is quite important, because in a nutshell, people attending the convention won't actually know if you're new or not. To them, you're just an ordinary person, you're there, and if your table display doesn't really look professionalish enough, they're gonna walk by it. So I actually think it's a good investment it's a good investment to get table displays right. But of course, having a good table display doesn't mean that you have to cash out a lot of money. If you take the time, you could make your own table displays out of cardboard, out of postal tubes to make the stand that you want to hang stuff off. I've seen that all before, and I think I'll talk about that in a later video. I'm not sure if I'll be able to fit it all here. This section is under the impression that you are going to spend a little bit of money on table displays. So here's a summary of all the things that your table display should have. Number 1 is height. When people are walking through the convention, there's a lot of people, so they're gonna tend to look up. So it will be good to make sure that your table displays have some reasonable amount of height to it. They don't have to be really tall. I'm talking meters tall, and a lot of conventions have height restrictions on your table displays. But just make sure that they're about eye length when people are walking. I think that's a good start. A way to give height to your table is using wire cubes. I'm sure that you've seen a lot of artists at conventions already use these. They're quite large, as you can tell, and you can buy a set of 5 of them for about £40 the last I checked. But see, which is quite expensive. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but they're a good investment. You can already tell that I use mine as shelves out of convention season. You can see them over there. And the set of 5 cubes that I have is actually enough to hold all of my merchandise. You can use them to arrange them in different ways. You can make them cubes and then like shelves and then put like merchandise on it, or you could just make one giant face of it. All of those things are possible. So that's why I recommend using the wire cubes, because they're quite versatile. So the second thing to think about when you're doing table displays is variation. So making sure that everything is not just on this gigantic face. Your table itself is going to be quite empty if you're putting everything up. So things like these document holders to put like A4 prints on, just imagine it like a type of mountain range. You want your table to have a little bit of stuff on it. But if you're the sort of person like me, during my first convention where I planned all these gigantic things to have, or thousands of variations of merchandise, and I did not finish it, just having height is good enough for your first convention. You can worry about all that other variation things later. It's not as important. Number 4 is comfort, which is not as obvious, but you're going to be sitting down for a really long time, and you're not going to have as much time to go get food or all those things. So what I like to do is make sure that I have a nice pillow to kind of like lean back against occasionally, and make sure you have plenty of water or food, sandwiches in your bag. Pack them with you. Convention food can be quite expensive. And this is speaking from experience and talking to a lot of people who do conventions themselves. Your health is important. So eating right, making sure you're drinking lots of water, all of those are important. I once did a convention where I didn't eat the whole day because I was fueled on pure adrenaline, and I was eating like candy and like Japanese sweets and stuff that people were like bringing over, like friends were bringing over. And by the end of the day, I felt so sick, and I still had one convention day left to do, and I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So your comfort and your health is important, so please bring things like pillows, food, water, all of that stuff. So number 5 is friends, which may seem like a strange title, but if you're the sort of person that feels a lot of anxiety sitting at the table and by yourself and needing to like reach out and talk to a lot of people, having a buddy next to you, someone that you trust, care about, can make good conversation with, is nice to have when you're sitting at the table. Because number 1, maybe they can help you feel a bit more comfortable, because you need to be able to talk to the customers. You know, they're here to talk to artists, meet artists, buy artists stuff, whatever. And number 2, there will be downtimes in the convention. No matter how busy the convention is, there will always be downtimes where everyone is getting food. There's not a lot of people on the floor, and business is a bit slow. So it would be nice, in my opinion at least, to have a nice buddy or friend next to you, so you can chat and talk about the important things in life, like anime. Number 6, whether you want to have commissions at the table, this is completely up to you, but I always feel that commissions are a really nice way to interact with your customers, because people like seeing you draw, like maybe in front of you, or they come back later or something, and it's a nice way to rake in some extra cash. Sometimes the idea of drawing under incredible time constraints and waiting for and to have the person's reaction right in front of you. What if they think it's shit? What if they hate it? What if they ask for a refund or ask me to draw it again? The worst commission related thing I ever had at a convention was when I was drawing a My Little Pony commission for a little kid. He walked away with it with his father. 5 minutes later, the father comes back and he's like, I am so sorry to bother you, but could you please do your best to try and make this pony's hair pink, because suddenly he really wants it to be pink. And I was like, I'll try, because I already colored it in, so I ended up making it a bit of a reddish sort of thing. Again, this is completely up to you. Commissions aren't for everyone. Some people just kind of like to sit back and not really worry about all that other stuff. I quite enjoy it myself, but if you're feeling a little bit scared about the time constraints and the people, and what if you can't draw on time and finish on time, I think people generally at the conventions I go to, at least, are quite friendly about the whole thing. They understand that you're a human being, you need to eat, go to the toilet. So we're getting to like the smaller parts of the convention planning now, which is like things like banners, envelopes. You've probably seen a lot of conventions where the artist has a giant banner with their name on it, very nicely printed. I, for my first convention, took an A1 piece of paper and wrote my name on it. That's really professional. I really think that banners aren't as important to the convention, especially your first convention, so don't really worry about it. It's a lot of money to get one of those banners printed, and it's not necessary. It may seem really tempting, just like all like the charms and everything I was talking about earlier. All these professional sounding things are tempting, but you don't need that now. Just go to your first convention, survive, come back, and then you can start thinking about all that extra stuff. Things like envelopes to put your prints in, to give them to people. I've actually been getting to the habit of rolling the prints up and slapping a rubber band on them, because they're easier to carry. Envelopes require them to be flat. A lot of people don't mind them being rolled up, because when you get home you can just flatten them out. It's pretty easy. And like little like plastic sleeves to put your commissions in. Those are pretty good to have. I think it would be pretty cool to get a collection of postal tubes to put them in and give them to them. That's an idea for a future Jia to worry about. Okay, so I think the last thing to kind of fuss about is business cards. I myself have been printing my business cards out on photo paper and just using scissors or a scalpel to cut them, and so far that's been fine. This year I want to get them professionally printed, but I think having business cards is a good idea. Whether you print them at home or you get them professionally done, I think business cards are a really nice thing to have. There are a lot of people at conventions that go around just collecting business cards so they can go home, sit at their computer and like kind of like binge follow all these people, which is fine. It's really cute. I've seen that happen before. In the end of the day, conventions are a good place to market yourself. And if you don't have business cards, it's going to be harder for people to remember who you are. So don't let this opportunity slip away. Make sure you have business cards, even if they're printed on just normal paper. You give them out, as long as you give them a little bit of a memento to who you are. If they like your art, they'll go home and follow you, and that can be pretty nice. Yes. So I think that those are all the points that I would think about when planning your first convention. There is a lot to think about, and if I've forgotten something, please write a comment, ask me. I would love to help and answer as many questions as I can. I hope I've managed to compile all the basic things to think about in your first convention to make things a little bit easier for you. If this year is your first convention year, please tell me about it. I like hearing like stories. Did it go well? Were there things that you could improve on? All these things. If you want to share it, just tell me. It's I think first convention stories are really cute. It's really nice to hear if they had a good time and everything. Again, if I've missed out anything or if you have other questions that I did not cover, please ask me about it. I would love to help. If you have any like topics that you would like me to cover in the next Artist Alley tip video, then don't hesitate to tell me. I would love to help in any way that I can to make sure that your convention experience is a good one. And I guess that's all I need to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next vlog thing. Do I need like a signature goodbye or something? What do I do with my hands? Anyway, bye.